Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be my September TBR. I'm so excited for all the books that I'm gonna read in September, and it's also gonna be my last cram in of summer books. So let's jump in. Starting off my TBR, I wanna talk about 3 extreme horror books that are gonna be on my TBR. That was so repetitive. It's technically 2 books and 1 anthology. So let's start off with the anthology. I'm just gonna like do it really quick because the cover is the cover is a bit much, and it's giving me flag me down, I'm a psycho type of cover. And the back cover, let's not even talk about it because it is very disturbing. And it is the Obituaries issue number 4, Summer of Blood. These are anthologies that Christopher Triana, Daniel Volpe, and Aaron Beauregard usually release, but this time around they had a guest author, which was Edward Lee. I've already read the first story here, which was Edward Lee's story, and I was not prepared. This was my first time reading him. I've always been very intimidated to read his stuff. I heard that he is like extreme, and yes, I do read extreme horror, but I think there is levels amongst the authors, in my opinion. And to me, Edward Lee has always had like this, like he's the worst in extreme, like he is as extreme as it can get, which intimidates me. And so I have had my first taste, and although this video is about my TBR and not about my review, like what the that was harsh. That was so harsh. And so I'm very excited to jump into the other 3 stories. I don't know if Edward Lee is going to be the author for me. I don't know that I could try anything else because that was gross. And then the other 2 extreme horror books that I want to read that have been on many TBRs, on many summer TBRs, maybe not many, but I know they were in last year's summer TBR, so they must get read this year. Dog Days of Summer and The Summer I Died. I've just been in a really good place mentally, and I don't know if that's why I have not been called to read any extreme horror, or if it's just that I have not been in the mood for it. But whatever the case is, I really want to get to these 2. Let's get the cozy mystery out of the way. You guys know from my July wrap up that my love for cozy mysteries have it's just blossomed. But the cozy mystery series that I'm like obsessing over at the moment, the next book I'm not going to be able to read until October.
I'm not going to be able to read.
Rules that I put amongst myself. It's just that it looks like a very fall, pumpkin-y, spooky kind of cover, and so I want to leave it for October. And so to satiate that cozy mystery feeling that I'm feeling, I'm gonna go ahead and read a book that I bought last year, never got to it, and it's a cozy mystery, and that is Deadly Summer Nights by Vicki Delaney. This is part of the Catskill Summer Resort Mystery. I don't know what book number this is in the mystery. I have never heard anything about this series, and so I'm going in blind. I bought this because of the cover and because of the title, and there's a dog here. The cozy mystery that I'm reading currently, there's a cat, Charles, in the series, and by the looks of it, this one has a dog, so I don't know if I'm gonna love it more, but excited to read this. It's set in the summer of 1953, and Elizabeth Grady is setting into Hagerman's Catskill Resort. As a vacation getaway, Hagerman's is ideal, and although Elizabeth's ostentatious but well-meaning mother is new to running the resort, Elizabeth is eager to help her organize the guests and the entertainment acts. But Elizabeth will have to resort to untested methods if she wants to save her mother's business. And then there's a murder on the property somewhere, and I just cannot wait. And I really hope that this gives me that cozy mystery dose that I need for the month. You guys know that I love Joe R. Lansdale, and if you don't know, I love Joe R. Lansdale. He's one of my favorite authors. Every time I read his books, he just evokes all kinds of emotions in me with his writing, and so I am a huge fan, Avi. And a couple months ago, or for a past Nightworms box, we ended up getting the Drive-In Multiplex. This is an anthology that takes place in the same universe as the Drive-In series that he wrote. When I saw that there was a Drive-In series, I was like, I need it, and so I bought it. I need it, and I see it. What is that? Or I like it. What is that commercial? I can't even remember what the commercial is about now. So naturally, these two are gonna be in my September TBR because I need to read this. I talk about in my July wrap up how carnivals I feel are like a very good transition kind of book for other seasons. So it's like a good seasonal transition book. I feel like drive-in stories could be the same between summer and fall. I don't know. Do you feel the same way? And so hopefully that is the case because I do plan on reading this as a transition into the fall season. I'm very eager to see what the stories in here are because we have Joe R. Lansdale himself. We have Keith Lansdale, which I'm guessing is his son, Josh Mallerman, Aaron Dries. We have Mary San Giovanni. We have Jonathan Jans, Owen King. We have Stephen Graham Jones, Gabino Iglesias, Cynthia Pelayo. I love Cynthia Pelayo. And so that's a great lineup. So I'm very eager to see what this is all about. But this, I cannot wait. The end of the 1980s, drive-in movie culture is mostly dead with one significant exception, the Orbit Drive-In. A drive-in theater so large it houses multiple stories high screens that fill the sky and can hold 4,000 cars and all the people who can squeeze in them. It's a lit city that fills to the brim on Friday nights. Crowds gather for the dusk till dawn horror shows, horns honk, barbecue grills sizzle, people yell and act a fool, ready for the marathon of one low-budget horror film after another. But then suddenly the world changes in front of their eyes, not on the screens. So apparently there's like a comet that comes in, obviously by the cover, and so I just feel like I'm gonna have such a good time with this one. And so priorities for September for sure. One book that I am itching to get off of my currently reading shelf on Goodreads is Different Seasons by Stephen King. But it's just the manner in which I'm picking or choosing to read this book is the reason why it's been sitting there for so long. So I started reading this with The Body, which is a fall story. If you don't know, this book is 4 short stories written by Stephen King, and each story is pertaining to a different season. And so my really smart self decided to read each story in their pertaining seasons. But the thing is that The Body I read in the summer, and the only reason why I read it in the summer and without knowing how this book was set up is because my friend had a read along for that short story. And so when I finished the short story, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read the rest of the stories in their pertaining seasons. And for like 2 years, I forgot that I had started this endeavor because this book just sat in a stack behind everything. And so in the winter time I found it and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So the winter I read the winter story, this past spring I read the spring story, and I still need to read the summer story, which I believe is Apt Pupil. Yeah, Summer of Corruption, and the story is Apt Pupil. I'm excited to finally read it, and I have loved each story so far in this one. So I'd venture to say that I'm gonna really love Apt Pupil. I've never read that one. I know that's a very popular story by him, and so I'm eager to see what it's all about. Whale Fall by Daniel Cross. This was an anticipated release for me and I still haven't read it. Dying to read this. This is priority for the beginning of September just because this has more to do with water and we have sea creatures. So it's more of a summer read and I want to get those in earlier on in September before the weather starts transitioning, because we're having cooler mornings and cooler nights, but the days are still like scorching. Like 2 days ago, our temperatures were still like 99, almost 100. And so I'm not feeling that cold brisk yet, but I know it's coming. And so in the moment, I want to enjoy these while the heat is still letting me. I think this has to do with our main character, and his dad dies and he wants answers, and so he goes on a journey. And I guess his father did something underwater or something. I haven't read the synopsis in details because you guys know I like to go into my books blind. But I think he goes for answers and he finds himself in the ocean and in the mouth or the stomach of a whale or an octopus. I think it's a whale. Because it says something about an octopus too on the synopsis. And so I'm getting a lot of isolated mental vibes from this, which I absolutely love to read. So very, very eager to finally read this anticipated read of mine. The next 2 books are books that have been sent to me by authors and I really want to get them in the lineup. The first one that we're going to talk about is Suckerville by Chris Sorensen. You guys know Chris Sorensen wrote one of my most favorite haunted house series. I know, haunted houses. I don't like haunted house stories, but he has an amazing series. I have yet to read book 3, but I read book 1 and book 2 in the Messy Man series. some of my favorite. And so when he reached out to me, I was like, yes, of course, you wrote one of my favorite books, or two of my favorite books. Send me this, please. I think that he has a new release after this, so this isn't his latest release, just in case you go looking. But I'm so eager to read this. I have no idea what this is about, but it says, J.D. Spears is having a stretch of bad luck. His wife left him, the law is on his tail, and to top it all off, blood-sucking leech people are attacking his favorite bar. Leech people. Together with his buddy Rowdy and the barflies of Doc's Dockside Tavern, JD must stop the suckers before they spread their contagion up and down the Mississippi River. This sounds like so much fun. And then the last and final book, really technically not my last and final book, but the last and final book that I'm going to talk about in this video is Season of the Sickness by Harry J. Vaughn. Like I said, he did send me this for review, so thank you so much first off if you're watching this video, but I'm so eager to read this. I was hoping to read this when I went to Savannah, but change of plans, I'm not going to Savannah anymore. The reason why I say that is because this book is set in Savannah, Georgia, and so I love when books are set in Georgia. I don't know, I feel like this sense of pride and like, I just get all giddy. I don't know, I just really love Georgia. A child incantation summoned what? James Alba suppressed those childhood memories, but when he returns to his hometown of Savannah, Georgia to restore a derelict rice plantation steeped in bloody history, the ghosts of the past are waiting in this atmospheric Southern Gothic. With voodoo, sorcery, and ancient relics, nothing is what it seems, and evil demands the price be paid. So that sounds so good, and this sounds like the perfect transition also for the fall time. So I plan on reading this later on in the month of September just to get me ready for that spooky season. I'm so excited. So that's it, you guys. Those are all the books that I would like to try to get to in September. If you are one who creates TBRs, let me know what you will be reading next month. Let's chat books in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!